Hi, it's Ed with Free Circle. Welcome to the dialogue. I come on dialogue and I listen to other people a lot. I don't like to interrupt a host. I just love to listen to the host, see what they're about. So I try not to interrupt. It's not that I don't want to participate or anything like that. It's just I'm engrossed in the content so much that I don't want to defile the knowledge that is flowing within them rooms. So I try to reserve myself because I'm opinionated and I don't want to disrupt. So, I tend to sit back and listen. Sometimes I listen to live shows. I like to catch them live because it's just the experience. And if I do have questions, I will type those in the chat. However, I just kind of respect the knowledge that is flowing, and I don't like to interrupt that in my experience on dialogue. However, I was on listening to Greta Van Susteren, and she mentioned that she was at Voice of America. And I was interested in that content. So, I had it in my mind, and I keep these things in my mind and I flow back. And I got an opportunity for a few minutes here to go on Voice of America and listen to some of the content within that site. And it just was awesome. This is another site that the public needs to know more about because there's where the news is flowing right now, it seems. So, I want people to go check that out. Let me see if I can see what it's voanews.com. So, yeah, that's kind of an interesting site, and it's filled with terrific content. It's crisp, it's clear, it's high definition, and it's a good experience. So, yeah, I listen to Greta, and I tell people, I spread the word while I'm out, and I talk to people, and I'm kind of just disgusted the ignorance in people, the unwillingness to dive in and see what is real and what's not. And anyway, one of the questions here lately is, do you know who Greta Van Susteren is? Because she uses dialogue once in a while, and I promote dialogue, and some of the content that I promote is those intellectuals that know what they're talking about because they've got firsthand knowledge. And Greta is one of those that I kind of, I really like to see using dialogue. It shows that she's interested in real America. She wants to interact with real people. It shows hope in the world. It makes me have a little more optimistic look at some of the darkness that surrounds us in the world. So, yeah, one of those questions that I ask people is, do you know who Greta Van Susteren is? And a lot of people say, no, I've never heard of her. And that just makes my jaw drop. It's like, well, where are you people in the world? And what type of content do you fill your time with? It's interesting. I go to all sorts of media content and I absorb into it. I like to see what both sides have to offer, and I make an informed decision about what's going on. And it's kind of disturbing to me that so many people do not have the will to participate in our political, our social, and our economic or our religious freedoms in America. They don't want to know what the Constitution is. They don't know, or they don't want to understand how civics work. And worst of all, they don't have that community spirit that drives the will of the people. And, this is one of the good things about dialogue and sites like Voice of America. Excuse me. So when I dive into content, I was listening, and people limit themselves to what they consume, and they are really hunkered down in their beliefs, and they really don't have much to base that belief on. So I find that a disturbing trend, and I'm kind of interested in seeing if that continues, or if people are going to wake up to what is going on in the world. It's an interesting thing that, I don't know, we seem lost, separated, and disconcerted with each other, the welfare and the morals of the people. Right before I came on to the dialogue, I was watching a channel on YouTube that has police interactions from the body cams of the officers, and they were showing some Tulsa, Oklahoma shootouts, and it's kind of getting bad that the separation and the disconnect between our public safety officials and the public, where we are erupting in this violent masquerade of hope, and people are not dealing with it very well. They want to grab guns instead of sitting down and talking, understanding each other. And we have to instill hope in the younger generation. And right now, all of us adults, we need to be able to sit down, put away the differences, and bring our community back together. I'm not a saint, but I don't want people out there killing our police officers, our first responders that, are meant to protect and serve us. And we've got this disharmony going on, and the violence have to stop. And we are looking at incidents like Rodney King. Do we remember that? Los Angeles, heck, when we get people massed up in that small of an area, and there's that many people, and they're all trying to get someplace, a lot of people get milled under, and they end up on the streets like Skid Row. And you just don't understand how harsh the world gets until you've really been there and you've seen it firsthand. And a lot of people don't take the time to dive in and understand the lower class of society, as they put it. Well, there's a lot of good organizations that do have good intentions. And Voice of America is one of those places where you're seeing good intellectual news feeds that are relevant in what matters today. And it's unpolluted by all of the Facebook frolly stuff. It's kind of got to be dealt with here, where we all want to be reporters, but we just kind of are limited in our understandings because we don't have firsthand account. So you've got to be able to look at stuff and understand you're not going to know everything. So we need people and listen to them. And that's where we'll start understanding better. And if you have a belief and you're firm in that belief, you can rationally sit down and talk in a rational manner about things. And we are finding people not willing to do that. And it's got to change. So I got a chance finally today to go over and check out the Voice of America website. And I just wanted to come and say, hey, people, if you're listening to me, first of all, this dialogue is coming from Dialogue. It's a new website. It's a social interactive website where you can get your voice out. You can come over and listen to some very smart people dealing with business, current events, music, a bunch of different things on here. Self-help, good inspirational talk. They don't really pollute it with a lot of toxic atmosphere here. So because of Dialogue, I'm able to get on here and submit my voice to wherever you are listening to me at. And the origin of this dialogue comes from getdialogue.am. So if you haven't checked Dialogue out, get on your browser right now and type in getdialog.am. Come on over and check it out. You'll find some very interesting features here. Search it out. Get a voice, get your voice out, and start talking. Let's start understanding each other, bringing people together, and don't be afraid to reach out. FreeCircle.website, that's our website. You're welcome to come and join us there. FreeCircle@mel.com is our email address. So feel free to contact us, get a hold of us. And like always, thank you for joining the dialogue. And Ed, Free Circle, out.